And we're live. It is the Martin Fowler Scrum. It is a Thursday, just before Christmas. And I'll start because I'm talking and, well, my brain's running rather slowly today. The slow start. I have managed to get a few important things done this morning, such as distributing all the free textbooks for the instructors for Armando and Dave's textbook. Gosh, there's a lot of work that needs done actually editing their textbook, but that's another story. At least I've distributed those things, and I am very pleased with the level of automation that I've got there. It is much easier. I can take a list of instructors' names and emails, and it automatically generates watermarked copies for me, and then with it semi-automated, I can send them all out via email. I've also started rolling the Spocks, though that's clones of the MOOC for other instructors. Yeah, and we've got the I've got access to the instance for the new run of the MOOCs, which is going to start at the end of January and end of February next year. So that is good. Yesterday evening, I was pairing with Michael. We got a bit of a breakthrough in using a combination of VCR and WebMock on testing the Twitter thing, which we're quite pleased with. And then I followed that up with a bit of solo work on the generic plans thing, which is just about knocked into shape. I've just got one last code climate issue, which I'm just fixing up, but then I've got a little slew of errors, and I think we're probably not going to be able to release that before Christmas. But I think an important lot of the work is done, so I'm quite pleased with that. Coming up today, we've got the mob programming very shortly. I'm going to have that followed by meeting with our sponsor Dree to review plans for next year, and yeah, we'll see if there's any time for any additional programming. That's me. Let's go for, I think Paul was next in. Paul, how are things going with you?
Well, I had a pair programming session with Patrick, and pretty much completed the enhancement that I had. And I was going to select another one from Waffle to work on.
Right. Yeah.
So if he was here, I would have hooked up with him to go through one too.
Indeed, and I think he is around. I think he was just and here, speak of the devil, or near enough. Yes. So welcome, Pat. Paul's just saying I think he's finished up his one thing and maybe ready to work on another thing from the Waffle board.
Oh, good news.
Yeah. So you suggested you might perhaps go through it with me.
Yeah, I have time right after this. If you can hang out too.
Yep.
Anyway, we'll create a separate hangout.
Okay.
Sounds good, Paul.
All right, nice one. Thanks, Paul. Let's go on. Thomas is here. Hey, Thomas, how are things going with you?
I'm hanging in there. It's the day before Christmas, so I'm actually off work. I'm home today. My students are on holiday break, I guess. One of them just posted a picture. He's on his way to Finland on a boat, and he's coding as long as he can. Traveling from Sweden to Finland. So. No, it's good. I'm very happy. I got 2 students into a startup that needs some help. So they will get employed already during the camp. So, and I will step in as a interim CTO for that company to coach them, and that's pretty amazing. So it's a social app that is being developed, and it's always nice to have people. The bootcamp is all about getting a job or getting out there somehow and actually do some real coding. So I'm very happy about that, and we attach a lot of support afterward for our students if they want. They're more than welcome to use us as mentors. So that's cool. But other than that, I don't have much to report. I was just hoping to check in with you guys.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, that's wonderful news, Thomas. Excellent. Great stuff. Let's go on. I think next was Matt. Hey, Matt, how are things going with you?
Yes, very good. Let's see. There's 2 things. I guess that Twitter issue. I started looking into it, and it's confusing. It's too bad it didn't seem like it was documented, or at least I didn't find it anywhere initially how it's supposed to work. So we're kind of backing into how many tweets are supposed to be sent. Maybe it's just me that was confused.
No. I think the key. I mean, the issue there is that there weren't acceptance tests which described the kind of high level desired behavior, and so it was then the behavior was implicit in the system, and we actually had to kind of infer it, pull out and write our own acceptance tests for it as characterization tests, and then we're continuing to we've only done part of that. As we dig deeper, we find that there's subtleties in the behavior that weren't expected, and so we kind of at each stage as we uncover those things, we kind of need to keep looping back to make sure that our acceptance tests are telling the right story about what's going on.
Right. So it's interesting, so doing that in Redeemify, Alex, who's working on the API, is still having a few issues on Cloud 9 because you can't make it look like an app and an API at the same time. Whereas your machine, you can fiddle with rack and have like api.redeemify.com and Redeemify www both.
Right. Yeah.
But you can't do that on C9, so we're fiddling with that a little bit.
Okay.
And this PC isn't very powerful. So but I think we got a solution for that.
Cool.
We're not going to do api.redeemify.com. We're going to do both are going to be served from www.redeemify.com, and then it's going to be slash. They're just going to look. You're not going to be able to tell it's from an API, but I've seen it that way too. So
sure, yeah.
We just can't. Later on, if we need to separate it into instances, we can change it. But that's the solution for that. So that's going good too. That's it.
Great, thanks, Matt. Excellent. I think also Michael was in next. Hey, Michael, how are things going with you? Michael is muted. Hey Michael.
Just woke up.
All right. Well, we'll let you get your bearings. I think we've covered most. Anything you want to add right now?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll let Michael get his bearings, and we'll finish up there with Pat. Hey Pat, how are things going with you?
Good, thank you. So what I've been doing since we met yesterday is I had pair programming sessions with Hinesh and Vijaya separately on MetPlus stories they're working on. Making good progress. I did some PR reviews on MetPlus as well. On the Wiki Ed project, I really haven't done much. I've just started reading about React. I want to take a React story and learn a little bit more about React. On the SHF Swedish dog project, for want of a better term, did a lot of reviews of PRs for them. We also had a sprint planning meeting yesterday afternoon my time, which I think was great. First time I've actually joined them and actually talked to them. A lot of good activity going on. I think the project is still formative in terms of what sprint lengths they're going to use, how much capacity the team has. The workflow process involved with PT is still undocumented and still not fully understood. But anyway, it's all good because everybody's very positive, nobody's defensive, and everybody's saying, yep, we need to document and figure this out. So I like the spirit on that project.
Great.
Did communicate with Vince. As you remember, Vince was trying to stand up the MetPlus project.
Oh, yeah.
And he was having problems, so I pinged him yesterday on Slack, and he let me know that he's probably not going to connect up with us until Monday. And then he and I will resume getting him stood up on MetPlus. And that's my report. No blockers for me.
All right. There we go. Thanks, Pat. Thanks, everyone. I think that's our scrum. So I guess, yeah, Pat and Paul will maybe create a MetPlus thing off the back of this. I've got a little bit of time now, although I do need to go and have my lunch and prepare for the mob session, which will be in about an hour and 20 minutes from now. I guess Matt and Michael, we can probably maybe stay in this hangout and just coordinate anything we need to coordinate on website 1. Thomas, I guess you're off to do family stuff.
Once again.
I said you're off to do family stuff. Are you going to hang out, or are you gonna get off?
I'm just making the dishes and preparing some Christmas food. So yeah, and coding at the same time actually.
Sure. Well, yeah, and more than welcome to join any of the sessions that start. Great stuff. And anything, any other urgent?
I just wanted to make a push for that little side project of mine, the visualizer.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm making some. You know, I write a few lines of code every day, but it's not much activity at the moment because we had so much other things to do. But it is an open source project. I haven't made it an Agile Ventures project yet. But if there is anybody involved, you can mention that potentially to some people. If somebody's interested in working on that, I'm happy to make this into a project. And again, the idea is that we will not only code and implement some features, but I want to play around with this project as a to practice the business side of everything and actually make this into a service, where we can charge small amounts of money, but still charge for something and validate whether customers are interested in that, and go through the entire lean process as well as using Agile in development. The project is, I mean, the technology is not overly complicated. It's not that hard. So that's why I would like to. It's a very small application, but I would like to take a look at it from a bigger perspective, and
sure.
See if we can practice the business side as well,
Yeah.
Perhaps we can pull somebody in. I know you've been searching for a marketer. This could be also a learning project for
right
into marketing, etc. So
that's interesting. I mean, now that website one, of course, has got there are there's revenue flowing. I mean, it's definitely very interesting to have projects that have revenue. I guess the thing, one of the things to do to make it an Agile Ventures project would be to sort of say that it was a non-profit thing, but still revenue can still flow through it. I don't know. I guess you're thinking of it as a for-profit enterprise.
Well, okay. So my idea is to make this totally transparent, as we usually do with the open process thing, But in this case, not only for the development part of it, but also the business part, all the questions that would arise. I would like to document this somehow and make that an open process. And for me personally, it's a learning experience, and this is that I would like to use those experiences that I gained from this project potentially in my teaching, when I talk to my students. But so I would say that I would like to keep this open sourced and open process, but still, if we deploy this, if Agile Ventures deploy this to some servers and launch this as a service, then of course the revenues could go to the charity.
Oh right, yeah.
I don't expect any enormous revenues here, because I would like to have this as a almost a free service, but symbolically charge like a few bucks here and there, basically, just to see if people are willing to pay for it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I mean that sounds to me to be totally in line with all of the Agile Venture goals. I would say let's create a channel for that and mention it a bit more heavily in new projects and see if we can't get some people on it.
Yeah, and I can move the repo over to Agile Ventures.
Yeah.
And see what's up. Again, right now it's mostly a spike. There are some challenges in terms of testing and shit like that. But I would like to get this into some sort of a prototype state where we can go out and see if people are actually interested in that.
Yeah, sounds great. All right, well let's take that conversation into new projects and make it happen. Great stuff, Thomas. Really wonderful idea. I think transparency there is open process is great. Michael, did you want to comment on that project, or what was up?
I had come in where I didn't really hear what it actually was. Just heard something about Thomas being a CPO or something. Oh
no, well I think what it was is that Thomas at the beginning was talking about him doing some stuff for the Craft Academy bootcamp for a couple of students who are going to be in it, but that's completely separate from what Thomas is now talking about, which is a visualizer thing, which is just about giving like Thomas used to use a service that visualized like the traffic on website one and on a few other sites, and that service went away, or it became like a paid service, and so he's building a new one, which is have you seen, Michael, in some places he's posted the output of that?
Yeah, basically just pulls out some very simple metrics from the Google Analytics.
Yeah, we had discussed.
So it's a very simple service, but
right.
Yeah, and I'd say I would compliment Thomas on it's looking really nice. Like the I got here, like Thomas has got the little things being posted into Slack, and this looks great. I mean, if I didn't know it, I'd say, oh right, that was the previous the service there. So I think it's great that you've been able to make that progress, Thomas.
Yeah, again, it's a spike, so this took a weekend
Sure.
to build.
Sure, and then of course it's like making something look good versus making something sustainable. Totally cool.
Yeah.
Great work, Thomas. Wonderful development.
I think we can combine our approach to open process to the business side, and can we make a two for the charity? I think that's going to be a good
I think that's wonderful. I mean, I think, and you're absolutely right. What I think I'm finding doing website one is that having a revenue stream and using the knowledge about which parts of the app are affecting the revenue stream and so on is wonderfully focusing for saying, okay, should we put the effort here or there or what have you, and doing that in an open fashion, I think is very valuable and revealing. Great stuff. Okay, well, there we go. Yeah, we've hit the end of our Scrum period. Matt and Michael, should we have a little chat here briefly about website one? I probably shouldn't spend more than 15 minutes, or I will end up being late and kind of not in the right headspace for the more programming session, which will come up in about an hour and 15 minutes. Great stuff. Okay, thanks everyone.
Take it easy, guys.
Final thing is, tomorrow I will not be around. I'm going to have the day off tomorrow, and so if I don't see anybody, very Merry Christmas. Have a cool Yule, and I'll probably resurface sometime the other side of the weekend. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday period.
Merry Christmas, gentlemen.
Merry Christmas,
everybody.
Yeah.
I should have got a Christmas. No, there's one more Scrum. I'll be in the Scrum this afternoon.
Cheers.
All right. And you all right? Lenny? honto? Kokombaもやった? Okay. Okay. Hold on, just got to my son. 今すぐ何やりたい? Okay. で、My reset 写真はどうしたの?
別にいい写真。
いい? 本当。Okay. じゃあ、これはちょっと時間かかるけど。ね。じゃあ、今何するの?
わかんない。なんか飲む。
Okay. エレクトロニックのやつやりたい?
いいよ。どんぐらいかかるの?
わかんない。まあ、座ってやっていいよ。Anyway, guys, if you want to start discussing that thing, go right ahead. I'm just going to do a couple of little things. I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So what was your questions?
Oh, actually, I was going to tell you and Sam, I think we just need to, I think I know, but we need to get it straight exactly what the goal is, like how many tweets are going out.
So
what's your understanding?
So you had asked, I think in Slack, you said that.
Yeah, I think I was wrong what I asked, but.
You said that you didn't understand because I said that under a normal situation it would never tweet, right?
But it does because, I've got a history of.
Okay, so right now, the app that's in production tweets.
Yeah.
All the time, every time it starts an event. But what I meant by that was that
one of the two tweets, though, doesn't it? Sorry.
It says both of them, yes.
In my history, I only get one, but maybe something's weird about my setup.
So I think what happens is that going forward, the way the code is right now, right, in the app, Sam and I have identified a potential bug in the way that the code exists right now.
Okay.
In that, when someone starts a Hangout, the website one, like JavaScript app.
When they hit the Hangout button, is that what you mean? Well, I mean when they
start a Hangout and that Hangout actually loads, right?
Okay, I got it.
There's like a little JavaScript app that loads inside of the Hangout that sends messages back to website one.
Right.
When you start it, it sends back a message that pings it, right? But that initial ping, hits the update method.
Yep.
And it sends a YouTube ID.
Right.
Because YouTube's assigned an ID already.
Right.
But it hasn't yet gone live. Like you normally can't even make it go live for several seconds.
Yeah, but this, maybe I'm wrong, but this is where I thought there were two YouTube links. The link to the video and the link to the live stream. Am I wrong?
Right. But my point is that it will never tweet the link to the live stream. That's what I'm talking about. The link.
Okay, so that's the second tweet.
But can I just stop you there, Matthew, and say that the link to the video and the live stream are the same thing. The ID.
Okay,
they are identical. They're the two things that are tweeted. You've got one is a link to the Hangout, so like a talkgadget.google.com Hangout URL, and then you've got a separate one which is the link to the YouTube.
Okay, I understood that, but I thought there were two YouTube.
No. I mean the YouTube thing is the like here in this Hangout that we're in now. Like if I click, I can get like the YouTube. It says like YouTube page, and I'll put this in the chat. It's like this one here. It's like V3FT SW whatever. That is both the live stream and the later on. Once the live stream is finished, it will be exactly the video
recording.
Oh, okay.
So they are identical.
So is that the problem? Is that because they're identical?
No, that's not the problem.
Okay, sorry.
that's all right. But I think so I think Michael is doing a good job of explaining there, and he'll get you on that. Do you guys? Yeah, I'll shut up again, and I just wanted to do that. Yeah, Michael, you go on now, and I'll shut up.
So the Hangout, right, pings the website when it loads, right?
Right.
It tells it the YouTube ID.
Yep.
Of which the YouTube stream, the live stream, which will later be the YouTube recording.
Got it.
Is constructed. So our YT gem reaches out to YouTube and says, "Are you how long have you been running? Right? Like, what's your duration?" And since the thing just started, it's not going to be live.
Oh.
It's not going to have 2 seconds of recording already. So that test will fail.
Got it.
Okay, so it won't initially send it. But that's actually behavior that we want.
Okay. You just went really faint.
We don't want it tweeting things that are dead, right?
Now I can barely hear you.
We don't want it tweeting links that are dead.
Okay.
So that's behavior that we want. But the behavior that we don't want is that on a future ping, like the next ping, say that it's gone live, right? The person's now pressed the live button and it's actually live streaming.
Yeah.
We want it to actually send the live stream tweet, right? At that point. Now, the problem is that in the current code, there's this logic where it checks whether the YouTube video ID is changed. But it generally won't.
Oh, I see.
It'll be the same YouTube ID. So at the point at which it has gone live and it would actually tweet, the YouTube video ID has not changed because the first time it pinged, it was a certain value and that's set. And it generally stays that value. It's like YouTube video ID 12 or whatever. It will never pass the check in the controller to actually tweet.
Okay.
The actual live stream link.
Is this because we added that check for the time, and now is that what you're?
Well, that's the net. The net effect is that because
The net effect of adding that is that it doesn't tweet the.
Right. It doesn't ever. It will probably never tweet, is what I think. So we have a test that's failing that kind of exposes that. And I think.
Yeah, I got to think about it a little bit, or maybe you know the answer already with what you said.
I think the quick fix is to add a boolean to the event instance that says whether it's already been, the live stream's already been tweeted or not. That's
Okay,
a quick fix.
sounds good to me. I think.
So once you know, I mean, I would set that to default to false, and then the first time that you know that the tweet has actually succeeded, then set that to true.
Okay.
And then that should plug that bug.
Okay, that sounds good. So I got to take my kids to school right now, and then I got the mob programming. So maybe after that, so we can, or I can start working on it. And if you're around, you know, I'll ping you if something like that.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
do you want to start? You want to do something yourself? That's fine too. So I don't.
Yeah, the thing that we identified yesterday, Matt, is that this, like, there's kind of an existing flag in here, the YT video ID changed. That's like checking for like if the video comes in. But as Michael was saying, the video always comes in, really. What it's doing is it's kind of using the fact that when the event instance is created, by default, the video is nil. And so it's using that nil thing as a kind of implicit flag to indicate whether it's tweeted. But it's,
why did you say is nil? Or something?
Well, I mean, I would say it's because we've got confusing, badly written code.
Yeah,
they've kind of overloaded the thing without explicating. And I think, you know, what, as Michael I think is pointing to there, I mean, the key thing is like what we want is something on the event instance itself to be a flag to indicate that this YouTube link has already been tweeted out, and so that it's clear what we're gating the behavior on. The other thing that was, I think, a big step forward yesterday that Michael is we kind of managed to upgrade the tests. I don't know if you saw that, and I think it's I mean, there's a lot of things going on here. Like, this ends up being really quite sophisticated combinations of bits and pieces. I think, can we see now in here what we managed to do is actually break up the steps.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and in particular, what we managed to do there, if I'll find the webmock thing, is, so now we've got these, what we're doing is a bit like a spy, but using the webmock, and we're now specifically not locking the way we test to the way that things are implemented on the hood, which is a huge improvement for an acceptance test, is that we now say, you know, that's this one here, like, okay, check that there was the incoming thing from the Hangout plugin, and then we check, you know, was the appropriate kind of tweet sent.
Oh, you can check the webmock across.
So we can check the webmock after the fact. So we have the cache is still catching the outgoing network request, but VCR is using webmock under the hood. So we can ask webmock if the, you know, the process of we can basically say, like, so the interesting, this is of course where it all happens. The ping from the Hangout plugin comes in through this method, right? And so we can basically say, you know, ping from the Hangout plugin, this method, you know, whatever this, I mean, the whole thing here basically is awfully convoluted logic that ultimately, you know, is a travesty, really, that we need to unpick and pull out and so on. And kind of in a legacy sense, it comes back to this, again, we're pulling out the acceptance tests to describe the behavior as it currently is, so that we can then gradually unwind the, you know, the stacked up technical debt that we've got in here. But so, yeah, so we can basically now with the cucumber test, we can say, given that a ping comes in from the Hangout, you know, we can make that goes ahead. The VCR will catch it so that we don't, you know, hit any third-party things. But we can use webmock to say, is the thing that we expected actually going out, without locking us to any particular implementation of the Twitter service or any of the code that's in here, which is exactly what we want from an acceptance test.
Yeah, that's good. Oh, great.
Cool. All right.
Yes, I gotta run. Take the
Yeah,
kid.
you did take this. Well, I need to have lunch and prepare. Help my son with his electrical equipment here and have lunch. Yeah, great. We'll see you in about an hour, Matt.
Yeah, okay. So I'll just check and see what's going on after.
Yeah, okay. Nice one. Thanks for the explanation, Michael. Well done getting to the bottom of that bug there.
All right.
Bye for now.
Bye.